In this video, guys, we are going to give you one of my top favorite all-time golden ale recipes. I'm going to give you not just my recipe, I'm going to explain to you if you want to take my recipe, modify it, or design your own. I'll explain to you what goes into a golden ale recipe. So sit tight. We'll be right back with that. Cheers. All right, gang, my name's Big Rob. If you don't know who I am, I'm from MakeBeerEasy.com. Used to be Make Beer Easy, now we call it MBE Homebrewing, stands for Make Beer Easy, but now we're into things such as mead, wine, spirits, and such, so we've had to modify the name a bit, but still the same Big Rob. Yes, sir. Cheers, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's bust straight into this. If you're new to this channel, or if you've been on the channel for a while, hit the like button underneath this video. That really helps us out a lot. If you want to get homebrewing tips, recipes, brew days, go ahead and hit the subscribe button wherever the heck it is on here. Hit that so you'll be notified. All the links I talk about in this video, I'll put the links to them in the description. So the first one's going to be actually my blog has this exact same recipe, so I'll put a link to the blog so you can go over there and get that. While you're there, you can also sign up to get my top 5 favorite recipes from my old brew pub that I used to own, so I'm giving those away. So let's get into it. Golden Ale, one of my favorite beers. I love the British beers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first give you my recipe, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about what goes into these beers so you can modify it and make your own. It is a British beer, as I've said, so it's not to be confused with a blonde, okay? And it's not to be confused with what some people are now calling American golden ales. A traditional golden ale is a British beer. So it's going to start out with, the grain bill is going to be made up majority of good old two-row Maris Otter, okay? That gives it the nice bready, toasty flavor that it's known for. So in this recipe, I do 8 pounds of Maris Otter. That is 3.6 kg for all you kg people. Munich malt. I add Munich malt to mine, 1 pound, and then that's same as, I don't know, about 0.5 kgs, 0.45 kgs. Wheat malt, add a little head, a little thickness, a little creaminess to it. I do half a pound, okay? That again is 0.23 kgs. Carapils dextrin. So I add again half a pound of that, which is equivalent to 0.23 kgs. I talk about it later, a little further on in the article. You can also try honey malt if you want. You can do a half a pound of honey malt. Honey malt adds a nice flavor to golden ales. So let's get into the hops. Here's the hop schedule. The hops consist of East Kent Goldings and good old Fugel. So if you don't have both of these, use them interchangeably. Okay, you'll see on the post that I have Fugel or EKG, East Kent Goldings. Okay, so the first edition, I have 1 ounce of East Kent Goldings, which is 28 grams, and that's at the 60-minute mark. This is a 60-minute boil, so right at the get-go, you're going to put that in. Number 2, second edition, is at the 15-minute mark. So if you're new to brewing, that does not mean 15 minutes into the brew session. It means 15 minutes remaining in the boil. Okay, so the last 15 minutes, you're going to drop in another ½ ounce of Fugel, is what it calls for. But if you don't have it, don't sweat it. Use EKG, East Kent Goldings. That's 14 grams. And then again at the 5-minute mark, so 5 minutes left in the boil, you're going to drop in another 0.5 ounce, another 14 grams of Fugel. And again, EKG if you don't got it. And then I never used to do this, guys, but my British beers, I would not very often, some of my IPAs I would, but I would not very often dry hop. I do now. Why didn't I before? I don't know, I just didn't. But I do now, and this one I dry hop 1 ounce. You could do 2, 28 grams. You could do 2 ounces if you wanted, but I find 1's fine. Makes a nice, adds a little more aroma to the beer itself. When you dry hop, I'll put a link in the description on dry hopping. When I dry hop, I do it immediately after active fermentation is done. So, you know, when all the vigorous activity is over and done with, typically around day 3 to 4 in there somewhere, that's when I'll go ahead and dry hop, and I'll just let her buck. I'll let her go for the whole duration, guys, from there on out. And I typically ferment for a good 2 weeks. I don't, you know, I back in the day when I had my pub, yeah, I had my good old hydrometer out checking every day. And when I first started brewing, now I just go 2 weeks and I know it's going to be done. It's going to be done fermenting, and this gives it enough time to condition and age a little bit as well. So let's get into the yeast, guys. It's a British English ale. So we need the English ale yeast. I'm a dry yeast guy. This used to be Make Beer Easy. I like to keep it real simple. So I use Cephal SO4, but others, other beers I brewed, or batches I've tried, Y yeast 1098, British ale yeast, which is also very good, but any British ale yeast is going to work fine. Okay, so that's my recipe. If you want to modify this bad boy, by all means, go ahead. That's homebrew, man. Mix it up. So the malts, the foundation of any good ale, golden ale recipe is the malt. Contributes, of course, to the body, color, and flavor of the beer. Typical malt bill for British golden ale recipe will include Mare's Otter. Yeah, you can't get away from that one. Popular choice, provides a robust, biscuity flavor and rich golden color. White wheat or malt wheat, malt wheat. White wheat malt or wheat malt, okay? So that's included in my recipe. They add slight creaminess to the beer, and of course, it's gonna improve head retention, okay? You're not using a lot. Pilsner and Vienna malts. You can add some of these to your recipe if you like. These malts will be used to lighten the color and add a subtle malt sweetness. In mine, I use Munich. So if I were going to use Pilsner or Vienna, I'd probably substitute out the Munich. Maybe use 1 pound of those total, or whatever, you know. It's, like I say, man, this is homebrew, so do what you like, you know. Add 1 pound of each if you want, along with the Munich. You can mix and match, so have fun with it. But those can be used to, like I say, lower the color a little bit and to add a little bit of sweetness. Crystal malts, I didn't have any in my recipe, but people do use them. Go easy, because they can add some complexity and some toffee notes. It can be overpowering, but you could definitely, you know, I'd maybe half a pound type of deal. But go easy. I don't typically use them, but some people do. So I wanted to throw those in there. Hops, if you wanted to design your own, of course, we've talked about Fugel and East Kent. Target's the other one. Those are really the only hops that I would recommend for British golden ale. Now, if you're going American golden ale, of course, you can go crazy. You can do whatever the heck you want. Cascade, Amarillo, etc., etc. And then yeast. It's got to be an English yeast. Unless you're doing an American one, then you can use American yeast as well. Instruction, guys. I'll bang through these really quick instructions. Typical all grain brewing instructions, but mashing, you want to do it 60 minutes. I mash on this recipe at 152 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 67 degrees Celsius, okay? When it comes to watering and sparging, drain your wort and then rinse your grains with sparge water to collect roughly, and you want to collect, it's going to depend. I have 6.5 gallons of water. It's going to depend on your system. That's on my system, okay? So I need 6.5 gallons of water. And then I bring the wort to the boil. Going to boil it for 60 minutes. Follow the hop additions that we talked about already. Cooling, get her down to the yeast pitch and temperature. That's on the back of whatever yeast you're using. Fermenting, don't sweat this part, guys. You know, I have it here at 68 degrees Fahrenheit for fermentation. That's 20 degrees Celsius. That's just a number I put in there. This is Make Beer Easy. Keep her simple. Don't sweat it. I keep it anywhere from, as long as I can keep the temperature between 62 to 68, 69, I'm happy. I typically don't go into the 70s. Some people do, low 70s, you know, give her a whirl, see what you see what you think. But we're calling for 68 in this one, but don't sweat that. Like if you're like, oh, I'm at 65, don't be like, you know, freaking out. Don't freak out, man. Fermentation, okay, so I go, like I say, I go 14 days. I just let her go. But you can, like I said, you can use the hydrometer to figure it out. Dry hop, we already talked about that. And of course, then you're in the packaging and off you go. So that's what I go get. That's what I go, guys. That's what I got, guys. Give this recipe a go. Drop me a comment down below. What do you think? What do you think of the recipe? What do you think of the ingredients before you brew it? Let me know if you brew it. Drop a comment in there and let me know what your favorite commercial golden ale is. And that's it, guys. Be sure to give this video a like if you liked it. If you didn't, don't sweat it. It's okay. If you want to get updates, hit that subscribe button wherever the heck it is. And again, links to this recipe and to dry hopping will be in the description. And when you're over the blog, sign up to get my top 5 favorite recipes, guys. That's what I got. Big Rob, well, he's gone.